Okay, maybe a train. Let's see if the train... Okay. Oh, it destroyed the vortex. Hold on. It might eventually, with all the collisions. Are you seriously? It's actually doing it! What's up, guys? My name is Khan, and we're back today with more Scrap Mechanic. And a few days ago, I came across an interesting block in the mod pack, and that is this block here. And you'll notice it probably looks familiar. Actually, let's put it up on this platform, and just so you can see it. And you'll notice it kind of looks like the spawner block from the challenges, but it's got this extra little circuit piece, and it's got this sort of little number display on the side. And what it is the mod pack boys have finally gone ahead and added a block that allows us to spawn any object we want in the game. So we can look at our entire inventory full of stuff, and we've got all our inventory blocks. And I'm not sure if it can spawn modded blocks or not, but I know it can spawn at least all the default blocks just by feeding it a number to let it know which block we want it to spawn. But it can also do a few other things. So with the previous sort of burster explosive cannons that I made, the problem we had was that the cannons would explode because the explosive would sometimes come in contact with the cannon itself right when it spawned. But these blocks, in fact, can be fed extra numbers to offset the position of it as well as the size of the block. So we've got object 115 here. I don't know what that is. And if we press this button, oh, okay, you can see it's a box of radishes. So that's kind of nice. And we can go up to, let's go to 120. And 120 is a sink. You can see they're actually spawning a little ways off, and that's because we've got this -1 offset, which is, I believe, -1 blocks in that direction, and then a 3 offset, which is actually 3 up. And believe it or not, this feature comes to us thanks to Technologic Nick. I do have to thank him because this was actually kind of broken earlier when I was doing some testing, and he rushed to get it fixed, so it's super, super awesome. But you can see we can spawn. That's a bolt, okay. Of course, like pretty much everything we do in this channel, I decided to combine this super awesome item spawner with Minnie's burster block to make just an absolutely ridiculous cannon because, you know, why not? Let's just launch stuff into space. Oh, there we go. Small explosive is 160. So what's large explosive? Oh, 159, perfect. And you can see with that offset, we're not gonna run into any issues with the turret sort of interfering. So I took all this circuitry and I wired it up into an awesome little turret here and put it on a base. And then, of course, we've got our black hole turret in the background. But this turret is actually super, super awesome and really one of my favorite turrets now to date. So you can see we've got the item spawner in there and then a bunch of logic surrounding it, as well as an array of 9 burster blocks in front. Now, the reason why we have 9 burster blocks is because some of the objects are different sizes, they're different shapes, so we have enough blocks to make sure that it'll definitely launch the object. And on top of that, this spawner lets us do cool things. So all the objects like your concrete blocks, your caution blocks, your wood blocks, the materials up here, I actually have some variables plugged into the spawner so that it spawns them in 2x2 cubes. And the reason why is sometimes the 1x1 objects don't always launch really that well because they don't get picked up by the burster. So really simply, we've got a bunch of controls here. One is, of course, fire. And then on the top here, you can see we've got an ID. So 2 and 3 will cycle through that. And that'll, of course, pick which block we are shooting. And then, of course, on the other side, we've got this level 1. And that's the power level of the burster block. So we can press 4 and 5 to increase that to, you know, level 10, level 20. I believe the blocks go up to 20. I'm not sure if they go higher than that. Regardless, 20 will basically shoot the object through everything. Like, it'll go through mountains, through terrain. It's incredibly fast. Even 1 is pretty good. All right, so we'll just, we'll cycle through the lines here. Let's just go with 100. I don't actually know what 100 is. Oh, 100's a curved pipe piece. Okay, so if we press 1, you can see it spawns it in front, and then it pulses the burster blocks to send them. And again, this is at a power level of 1. So if we press 4, we crank that up to, for example, 10. You know, then it really goes. And we can just keep pressing that. Okay, you know what? We're gonna litter the map. Let's try not to lag out the game. 160 was explosives, right? So maybe we'll clean that up a little bit. Hold on, that was power level 10. I'll put that back to 10. We'll get up to 159, I think, was the large explosives. Gotta make sure we clean up the mess a little bit. That's, of course, why we have the black hole turret. It really works quite well with this item thing. So here we go. We'll just send a bunch of explosives over there, and that should clean up any pieces that were stuck there. I don't know if they're actually exploding or not. Did they explode? Are they even exploding if they hit? Oh no, they explode for sure. Okay, so they probably exploded. That's good. I mean, it's quite an awesome device, I think. It's a lot of fun though to definitely have it at a low power level and really use it just to spawn whatever items you want. There's really, I mean, no point to it. Some items don't shoot well. Some of the 1 block items, Sometimes they work great. For example, we're shooting flower pots. You can see some of them don't get picked up by the burster blocks. Some of them do. So, you know, you get different results. The larger items shoot more consistently. You can see if we shoot the larger flower pots here. And then, of course, what else do we got? We got a bolt. So you can see the bolts definitely aren't going to shoot consistently. Some of them will, and some of them won't. Again, just the size issue there. But if we go all the way back, let's just really tap this 3 button. It's going to take a while, but we'll go all the way back to the basic blocks just so you guys can see the sort of cubes happening. But unfortunately, that cube doesn't work for any of the object pieces. So any of the stuff that you can drag, it'll form a 2x2 cube. But anything that's just an object like a duck or a bolt or a shoe, sometimes you can see this is a 1x1 object. The reason this is happening is because each burster sends a perfectly straight line. And I think the 1x1 objects, they don't always get picked up by that line. So some objects just will kind of litter around the cannon. Timer, apparent. Oh, no, there. No, maybe. Some of them. You know, so this is just a mess. You know what? What is this? There we go. That's a tote block. A tote block head. Toilets. Perfect. That is what we need. Everybody needs some toilets. You can see they kind of spawn a little bit low. Some objects spawn higher. Some objects spawn lower. The larger objects are kind of offset to spawn up a little bit higher. It really is a very difficult thing. Again, that's why we have a 3x3 grid. Oh man, that is a lot of toilets. So here we go. We should be into some blocks now. There we go. So this is, I believe, a tile block. And you can see here, let's crank the power down to 1. We're actually spawning 2x2 cubes of it. So that's kind of cool. And of course, for all you guys who want to see scrap mechanic consistency in physics, look at that. Look at amazing. Let's make a big pile there. And you know what? We got to get explosives now. Unfortunately, it takes a while to kind of click through all the items. There are a fair amount. Now, you can, of course, paint these buttons. They are just buttons from the mod pack, so you can paint them red if you want them to go up in 10s. But, of course, you'll skip over a bunch of items. All right, so there we go. 159 is the large explosives, and you know what? We're going to have to crank this up a little bit. Let's go. No, 159. Power level 4, maybe? That's pretty good. And we'll start cleaning up some of the mess there. Perfect. But you can see a really awesome turret. I like the fact, too, that this one doesn't have any spawn time. So you can see as we press the stuff, it's basically as fast as we can click. Every time we click, it'll spawn an item. And if you hold it, it only spawns 1. That's it. But if we click as fast as we can, you can see we spawn a bunch. And some of them kind of get hit a little different, again, depending on how many bursters they get hit by, I guess. Or just, I don't know, the angle of the burster or something. So, of course, a few of you are probably wondering, well, why do you have the black hole gun on the map? And really simply, you can see we've got a ton of parts here and just an awful big mess. So I've modified this one so we can just kind of press a button and turn it on. And yeah, so this one's switch powered. So we can hopefully just kind of leave that like that. That's amazing. Look at all those blocks. It's also on a really high strength. So it's kind of really, you can see it's pulling this turret. That's how strong that black hole gun is. We might, you know what? We might need to increase the range on this and just move it a little bit away. If you weld both them to the map, you can kind of use the one to clean up all the parts you shoot with the other. And I mean, this one is super cool just because you can shoot all sorts of stuff at different power levels. But you know what? Let's just clean up the black hole. Oh, no, I didn't want to add more stuff to it. Hold on. We can drop this to like no power. You can see these pipes, they don't actually get launched, but they'll just kind of, they don't hit the burster block. They're too small. So the pipes definitely still have some issues. And but look, we're making like a cyclone. It's actually a cyclone of parts. They're naturally forming an orbit around the black hole. So that's actually really cool. So the thing with orbits, in case you guys didn't know, and the reason why planets all sort of go in the same orbit, at least as far as I've heard, is because if you take a bunch of objects, like a bunch of marbles or whatever, and you spin them around a gravity well, like if you take a cone, for example, like a plastic cone, and you fling them in 2 different directions, eventually, with all the collisions, they'll all start moving in the same direction. And in fact, that's actually what's happening here. We've actually created like a vortex. Look at that. It's like art. Oh, now we've moved the black hole. I really need this to just be stuck in one spot. All right, there we go. That should keep it locked in. Perfect. And they're kind of forming like some weird ball now. Let's maybe, you know, let's change this up. We need bigger parts. What's 130? Flower pots. That's not big enough. We need like big boxes. What is that? Toilets? No, sinks? Sure, let's add a bunch of sinks to the oh my god, this is so cool. All right, and then what else can we add? Some of these, sure. We need like seats. Are there seats? Which ones are seats? Those are pipes. Those don't really get blasted off with the burster block gun. That is so cool. Okay, the game is starting to lag now. We might have too many objects here. Oh, that's so crazy. It like naturally forms a cyclone of, oh, it's got like a secondary orbit, but see, they'll hit each other and they'll collide, and then eventually they'll all group together and form with the object. Like it's just momentum. There's too many objects moving in the one direction, and it's forcing all the other objects to follow it. That's unbelievable that it actually follows that. That black hole gun's still locked in position. That's fantastic. Now, this is a black hole with a strength of 30, so it's pretty powerful. But look, you can see all the stray objects that are just floating off the circle are still eventually forming the vortex with all the other objects. That is absolutely crazy. That is so cool. Can we like, I mean, we can't spawn a creation because, wait, what if we spawn a car? Will the car form with the vortex? Okay, maybe a train. Let's see if the train, okay. Oh, it destroyed the vortex. Hold on, it might eventually, with all the collisions. Are you seriously? It's actually doing it. That is so cool. The train just follows it. What else can we put? We gotta put a car in with it too. Let's put a car. I don't want to put anything with too complicated suspension or anything like that. Here's a truck. All right, there's a truck. Again, it'll hit the objects. It'll cause a bunch of interference. And then eventually, the object collisions should form the truck to move with everything else. Are you serious? It's actually, it's kind of disrupting it a lot. It's doing it. Look at that. It actually, it restabilizes and it forms a perfect orbit around the black hole. That is so cool. I did not expect that to happen. I mean, it's too bad we can't fly through it. It would be awesome to fly through it with a vehicle, but any vehicle we spawn on this map is gonna get pulled into that so fast because this is an extremely powerful black hole. And the map is getting kind of laggy, so let's just spawn some explosives and clean up this whole mess. I will, of course, upload this to the workshop so you guys can check it out yourselves. I do warn you, you know, this is a pretty laggy game right now. We're about 10 frames per second, and there's a lot of objects spawned. So just be careful, you know, it doesn't have any fully automatic mode, so as soon as you let go of the button, it'll stop spawning objects. But it is a really, really cool device, and definitely check it out with the black hole gun. And it's really, really cool. So here we go. Let's just spawn a bunch of explosives in. Now, they should disrupt the vortex. Maybe? What are they? What? No explosives. There we go. They're just gonna start. They actually just consumed almost everything really, really quickly. That's unbelievable. I'm definitely really excited to make more gravity type creations. I didn't even realize that item vortex was going to be a thing just with the amount of items we spawned. It's really cool that that happens, and I think it's really awesome, and maybe we'll have to do some more experiments with gravity. But of course, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And while you're at it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.